Hey, what's up guys, it's TF, and today I'm here to discuss the finale of Adventure Time.
Come along with me.
Now, I've practically grown up watching this show since it's been on for almost a decade, and from the very first episode to the last, I've watched them all. And yes, even though the series started to go down here towards season 5 to 10, they've adapted and started making miniseries and arcs based off the characters' origins and roots. With this, the show was revived and amazing arcs came out such as Stakes, Islands, and even Elementals. These arcs were made to shine some light on the lore of Adventure Time, such as how did Finn end up all by himself in Land of Oo, or how did Marceline become the Vampire Queen and have demon-based powers? How did Simon become the Ice King, and who placed this horrible curse when someone puts on this magical crown? All of these questions have been answered. Even new information about these characters has started popping up, such as how Jake got his treachery powers and why Jermaine never had any. Or why did zombies start popping up in Oo? In fact, most of these events have connections with each other, such as if it was for Marceline killing off the vampires that plagued Oo, then the human race would have been completely wiped out. Or the fact that the bomb during the Great Mushroom War had never been set off, then Lich or the zombies wouldn't even existed. Or how if Gunther had made the right wish with the crown's magic, he could have saved the world and stopped Lich from ever hitting the earth. My point is that it proves that the actions that these characters make has an impact on the future, which is an element that many modern cartoons lack. This is one way that Adventure Time sets itself apart from all the other cartoons and was looked up to as the GOAT of Cartoon Network as a whole, especially after the show saved Cartoon Network from their live action days. And the finale itself was the icing on the cake for Adventure Time fans, since it not only tied together all the villains the franchise had produced and made them all work together to stop Glob from destroying the universe. However, some of these events may have never occurred if it wasn't for Betty. You see, Betty is Simon's old girlfriend from before he was the Ice King. And since the crown infected Simon with Gunther's naive views of Evergreen, he went from being an important philosopher to an insane Ice King. And of course, this drove Betty away since she couldn't control the crown's madness. So now, if you're ever wondering why Ice King stole princesses at the beginning of the series, this is why. He loses his princess Betty, thanks to the crown that only magnifies the sadness. So, you can say he was subconsciously searching for Betty while he was under the crown's spell. However, the truth is that Betty jumped into the future and continued to work to find a cure for the crown's madness and freeing Simon. And even though she went through literal hell to free Simon, she could never see her plan all the way through. This was due to the crown's complex mechanics. Thus, she had no choice but to work with Magic Man at the time to avert the crown's magic.
I see.
You see what?
The coconut crab who swims in your neighbor's pool at night. Maybe Simon's in there too. Who else holds their breath in there, Betty?
After which, Betty had Magic Man's powers and had his insanity, which also magnified the sorrow of oneself. Now, I know that every point in which Betty obsessed over Simon, she was already ready to lose him to the crown. But once Betty had finally given up on her obsession over Simon, she realized that the Ice King is a person and made peace with Simon's change, thus allowing her to enjoy being around the Ice King, leading up to her capture. And being used as an engine by Patience, Betty had amplified Oo into elemental regions. Now maybe if Patience had used those fairies instead of Betty, she could have made an ideal world. Honestly, even Patience's plans didn't make sense. I mean, she made them use their elemental powers and to get to their fullest, but expected them to be her friends in the end. She's definitely an ice elemental. Soon, Betty got hold of Enchiridion and was researching a way to fix the elemental landscapes. Soon after, she looked deeper into the book and found a spell to reverse time, as she is now thinking of ways to get Simon back, going back to her old ways. Thus, I believe that Betty, up until Patience capturing her, was starting to make some real changes in fixing her mental state. And maybe if Patience never captured her, she wouldn't be motivated to try harder to get Simon back. Thus, Gold would have never been summoned to begin with. Anyways, back to the video. So now she was ruthless and determined to find a way to free Simon, even by destroying the world. And now don't get me wrong, she tried to receive help from Normal Man by filling a pit with sand grain by grain, which is a very annoying long activity which was designed to keep her from thinking about Simon. It ultimately failed in fixing her mental state though, even when both Finn and Jermaine pointed out the fact that she couldn't move on from Simon and live her own life. And once she faced the fact that her obsession was mentally destroying her, she decided to try harder to recapture Simon and deal with herself after the fact. So, she made a plan to exploit Kingman's sorrow to summon Glob, which is an entity within Adventure Time that is known to destroy worlds and reality itself. So Betty and Kingman summoned Glob during the war between Bubblegum and Gumball. This ultimately made Glob the prime enemy and the heroes had to unite to defeat him, which ultimately led to the treehouse being smashed up. Soon, Betty, Simon, and Finn get swallowed by Glob, and they all revert to their original state. Betty no longer had Magic Man's powers or abilities, Simon no longer had the Ice King powers, and Finn was still the same. They were being crushed though, since Glob was trying to end their existence, thus the rest of the enemies and friends fighting the very same day broke out into a song. This had opened an entry point in Glob, making it so everybody could escape, but it was still closing very quickly. And even though Finn and Simon got out alive, Betty had to bite the dust and make the ultimate sacrifice. It turns out that Betty had planned for this to happen, and was prepared to sacrifice her own being for Simon, and since the ground can make any wish come true in this state, she decided to spread its reality and Simon by merging with Glob. This made her existence as a whole disappear, and made Glob a whole new being. And that was where the series ends. We see during the end credits that Simon was still out looking for Betty, but now has to go through an even harder path to free Betty from her prison. Now, if you think that breaking a complex crown that was made with elemental magic and ancient monster powers was difficult, then tracking a being that can be anywhere in reality shouldn't be that hard of a task, am I right? So yeah, it was a great ending to an amazing show, which tried to get all the storylines pretty nicely. Anyways, that's it for me, and if you guys like this content, then make sure to drop a like and comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell, helps me out a lot. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day. I'm TF, and I'm out. See ya.